Batteries fully charged. Launch ready for WWE Aftershock in 3, 2, 1. World Wrestling Entertainment Discussion is live. Cue host Owen Finch.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to WWE Aftershock Extra, where we're going to be covering WWE Crown Jewel 2023. I'm Owen the Birdman Finch, and I'm here with the man that has so many nicknames you can't even keep track of them, but I'm going to try. We have Smoke Slayer, we have Steve Steiner, Parachute Man #1. I think I lost track. Yeah, not number 2. He still hasn't shown up yet. I don't know where he is. So, let me think. Yeah, Steve. I think that's it, right? 3. I thought. I feel like you've had more.
And many more.
I feel like you've definitely had more though. I don't know why I only came up with 3. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, you haven't been on the show in a while since I hosted the show and was tired as hell for reasons we can't talk about on camera. But. Yeah, what's life been treating you? How you been this last month? The last time you hear The Rock was here, so...
Yeah, life's been good. What's changed? WIW's gone off the air. Sad. But, that's also for reasons we're not going to talk about on camera. All I tell people is I think the show went off the air for the right reasons.
Okay.
I talked with James the He-Man Hebert about it, long time Aftershock coordinator. I think even though he said it's canceled and it's done, I don't want to count the series out entirely, but I wouldn't expect to see it back anytime soon, but I wouldn't expect gone forever. So we'll just leave that at that for now.
Yeah, definitely have to.
Maybe it'll come back as WIW, maybe as something else.
Right, or it's gonna be tough, but I don't want to. We won't want to get. I don't want to get into the reasons why it'd be tough, but yeah, I guess we'll just Anything else that's been going on since you were last on? That's a big thing. I don't know if you can talk about because that's supposed to be private. So.
Yeah, if you know, and it's awesome. I'll just leave it at that.
So, yeah, we've never done a video. We've done one video, I think, just ourselves, where you booked Goldberg in WWE if he stayed. So, and you did most of the talking in that video because you did the booking. So, it'll be interesting to see how we do just us doing a video. We don't have Chris Dodd or John Tuddy for the first time. So, it'll be interesting to see how that happens. You've seen enough of the shows, though, where you know kind of... how this works. We're only reviewing one show just because it's a pay-per-view, so we'll just get right into it. It's, we had Crown Jewel, we had the kickoff show, we had the panel of Peter Rosenberg, Matt Camp, and Megan Morant. The panel was done at WWE headquarters, and the pay-per-view took place in Saudi Arabia. I assume they did it that way. They've been doing a lot of their international pay-per-views that way, where they'll just do the pre-show with the panel at headquarters. I assume it's just too much of a hassle to probably set up the panel and everything like that. I think, too, because they wanted to get more ticket sales. And, I don't know if you've ever been to... a pay-per-view when they've done the panel. They don't do this anymore, but they used to put the panel, they would have to block off a section of the audience, and they used to put the panel.
Yeah. What show was it? I want to say it was Survivor Series, maybe, where Mick Foley was on the panel, and they shut it down, they didn't start it back up at all during the course of the night, but Mick Foley was on it, and he just turned his chair around and sat at the panel all night watching the show from up there. Just chilled with the audience. It's pretty cool.
Funny story is my seat was supposed to be where the panel was, but I think, because that was the first year they ever did the panel, so they had to move our seats, so we actually had to sit closer than when we would have sat. But it was a big thin BS and everything like that. But Yeah, they did fine on the panel. I think these three worked really well together on the panel. They just kind of broke down the pay-per-view of what they thought was going to happen and everything like that. So, typical panel pre-show stuff. I like this panel better than, I don't know, than the panels that they've been doing, where they've had like 4 people on. We didn't have to hear Booker T on the panel, which was nice, so I like that.
All talking about the shucky and the ducky and the whoop that trick.
The one funny thing that's come out of that recently is every time Trick Williams comes out now, he has this great reaction that he does now when he sings his song and everything like that. So, and then the commentary team for both the kickoff and the actual show itself was Wade Barrett and Michael Cole. Barrett's been doing a lot of the international pay-per-views recently. I assume that's the case because I don't know exactly. I'm just going to make it a guess here. I think Carmella's pretty close to her due date or something like that, or she's further in her pregnancy, so maybe Corey Graves doesn't feel comfortable traveling.
Because that's been my guess.
But yeah, I thought they did really well on the commentary. They work really well together. I think that you could definitely see the reason why they moved them to Raw, because they work really better on Raw than they have on SmackDown, so they work really well together. And I can't believe it, though. I don't even know the last time this happened. I think it was Clash of the Castle last year. We actually had a kickoff match. It was Sami Zayn versus JD McDonough, which was pretty awesome. They clearly wanted to get Sami on the show, but they couldn't really find a place for him, so they just did a kickoff match. Sami got a tremendous ovation. It's still so surreal to me to this day. And I don't think it's ever going to really sink in that Sami can go to Saudi now, just because if you know, you know. I don't want to get into the reason, but yeah, it's just so surreal that Sami's there. And yeah, this match was really good. Sami Zayn and JD McDonough looked pretty strong with each other. Sami dominates early. He does this really cool thing where he's meant to do a back suplex using his legs. And I think JD McDonough was meant to flip, but that does not what happens. He ends up just going right into the ropes, and I think because of this, he got like a red mark on his on his side, and I think he had internal bleeding from this because he's pretty messed up the rest of the match. And Sami Zayn bounces McDonough off of the top turnbuckle, and he does a really a sick back bump. I will say the one critique I have this match is I thought JD McDonough was selling well, but too well. I thought he was overselling a little bit in this match, but that's, that is what it is. Eventually, JD McDonough gets the advantage. He throws Sami into the post, and the posts are legitimate steel posts this time. They're not the LED post like they had.
Yes, which I thought was awesome. I love the old tool posts. I thought those were always the best.
Yeah, I like those. And then JD McDonough dominates. Sami goes for a crossbody, but McDonough counters that into a drop kick. And then, he dominates. He works over the ribs of Sami Zayn. Sami mounts a comeback. It doesn't last very long, though. He ends up getting hit with the Spanish Fly, which, Sami Zayn kicks out of. And then eventually Sami Zayn hits an explosive suplex into the corner, followed by the haluva kick. And Sami Zayn beats JD McDonough. And this was kind of like the end of the best of 3 because they've had a couple of singles matches and they've traded wins. So this was kind of like, the end of the feud and everything like that. So yeah, I thought this match was pretty good. I give it 3 1/4 stars. Good pre-show match. And I thought it made sense for Sami to win because, he's really loved in Saudi at the moment. And, I really don't think you need to take that away. I'm just kind of still waiting on when JD's officially going to join Judgment Day. Because it seems like every time we get closer to it, we take kind of 2 steps back. I think we're kind of back on that track again, but it just feels like we're a couple steps behind it. Because at the moment, he's definitely not in the group. He's more of an associate right now, but other than that, everything else here was pretty damn good stuff.
I'll tell you now, my rating for the match is a 3-star. I thought it was just right in the middle, but right above that actual 2.5 middle. Good match overall. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give it a 3.5 just for the fact that the Blue Thunder Bomb actually won a match for once.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I don't think that's ever happened before.
I saw it happen. I looked down to do something on my phone. I'm like, hey, it's going to kick out. And I heard 3. I'm like, 3?
Yeah.
And I'm immediately like, that's gotta be a botch or something. I watch it back like, no, like it worked.
Yeah. So that's good. The next time he hits the Blue Thunderdome, you'll be paying attention now, though. So,
The Blue Thunder Bomb has finally escaped the void of moves that never work. Such moves include the Lion Salt from Chris Jericho,
yeah, now that doesn't work anymore.
the Moonsault from Bianca Belair. Maybe the lesson being, don't do a backflip off the ropes. It never works.
Right. Well, there's one other one, because we used to talk about this all the time. The Side Effect never put anybody
The
away
Side
either.
Effect. Any of the first 4 of the 5 moves now the 6 moves of Doom.
Yup. But yeah, so, yeah, pretty damn good stuff here. And then basically that was the only thing, like, of note that wasn't, like, a panel or anything like that happened on the, pay-per-view. It was just this match. And then, yeah, we had the actual show itself, the same people on commentary. The intro they showed was really cool. They used Imagine Dragons. It was the Battleground 2017 theme song. I knew it right before I had to come to this video. But yeah, I don't remember what it is. Just look up whatever Battleground 2017. No, it wasn't Battleground 2017.
It was Believer, right?
Yeah, it was. You know, I've been waiting for them to use this song for one of their pay-per-views because, you know, this song really took off. They probably should have done it years ago, but, you know, I'm happy that it happened. It really fit well with the intro. I loved, obviously...
I'm looking it up right now. What was that theme song, too?
Yeah. They did use this for Finn Balor's. It's in his 24, actually, but he's, like, working out in his 24, so... And, yeah.
Yeah.
The arena and the set looked really cool. How it was they had a bunch of LEDs around and everything like that. And then the crowd was set up. There was an LED like in the crowd, and they had to kind of sit around the LED. It's really hard to explain unless you've seen the pay-per-view, but it's cool stuff.
Yeah, well, all I'll say about that is probably sitting in a crowd with a palm tree in front of your face.
Yeah. I know. Unfortunately, you went on that retro, so you didn't get to talk about that. But yeah, it's
happens.
Now, were you also affected the year of WrestleMania, like where they had the red light? You couldn't see the first match of WrestleMania 35. Was you affected by that?
It wasn't the first match. It was AJ and Randy. They turned that damn red light on for some reason. I could see fine, but like you could see it, and you were like, "Wow, some people are getting fucked."
Yep.
Big ones.
But then we had the first match on the pay-per-view after they did introductions. We might have to start having a conversation, by the way, about Michael Cole. He might be showing his age now a little bit because he does a pretty bad mess up here where he inadvertently called the Arabic announce team, I think like the Spanish announce team. He's been doing a lot of little fuck-ups like that recently. We might have to have a conversation. He might be starting to do too much now, and, you know, I think he should just stick to one show. You know, but... yeah, it could have been too that he was just a little too excited and everything like that. So, you know, that could have been what it was. But this is like the 4th time in a row, I think, that he's had a pretty bad mess up like that. So,
yeah.
And but I mean 4th time in a row. I mean like 4th show in a row is what I mean. So,
right.
But yeah, it opened up with the World Heavyweight Championship match. It was Seth Rollins defending against Drew McIntyre. They had cool entrances. You know, obviously they go really all out with the pyro and everything like that. This is the first time Drew McIntyre's come out with Angelo in a bit, which I'm glad that's a change that Triple H made now. You know, I always hated when he came out with it every week, so I'm glad they saved that for special pay-per-views and everything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a really great match. Spoiler alert. This is my favorite match of the whole show. Not that the show is bad. I think I have been known to say before, if your opener's the best match of the show, then it's a bad show. It just wasn't the case here. It's just personal preference. But the match starts off really well. Seth and Drew really start to go after each other. Seth gets the offense in the beginning of the match. Eventually hits a suicide dive onto the outside, and at one point, Drew catches him, and he hits a belly to back onto the floor, and this ends up hurting Seth's back. And I actually like that they kept this, they're talking about the back injury. I thought, once that feud ended, they were just going to never put it up again, but I like that they put in that up again. And Drew kind of works over the back of Seth. He puts him up against the steel post, and he hits a chop right across his chest. Seth does get some offense back in there. He hits a really good high knee to the back of Drew. He hits another suicide dive on the outside. And eventually, though, Drew sends back first again into the steps, and he goes for a sidewalk slam. And I thought he was going to sidewalk slam him onto the steps, but he does it onto the apron. So I was like, oh, okay. I thought that would have been more impactful if he did it on the steps, but obviously I don't want it to seem like I want to see somebody get injured. But Drew continues to target the back of Seth Rollins. Eventually, Seth Rollins mounts a comeback. He hits a couple of slim blades onto Drew. He hits a really good frog splash onto Drew McIntyre, and McIntyre kicks out of it. Drew hits because Seth has him in a tree of woe position, and Drew's able to just sit up from it and hits a really good, belly to back suplex, hitting Seth onto the floor. And he hits a flying clothesline onto Seth, but Seth kicks out of that. And then Seth hits he hits a suplex, and he goes for the Falcon Arrow, but Drew fights out of it. And then the second time, Seth's able to hit the Falcon Arrow, which was nice. I always like that struggle, but Drew kicks out of that. And then Seth does the superplex, but he can't follow up in the Falcon Arrow. Instead, Drew follows up with that with a spin and suplex, and Seth's able to kick out of it. And then Drew hits the Future Shock DDT. Seth kicks out of that. Seth hits a pedigree, and Drew kicks out of that. And there's a couple of moments of this match. I haven't mentioned them because I forgot, but I want to make sure they get mentioned, where it looks like Drew easily could have put away the match, but because he keeps showing remorse, it's allowing Seth Rollins to mount a comeback. So they make arguments that, had Drew had been more aggressive, he could have put away the match. But then eventually Seth hits a pedigree, followed by the curb stomp. Oh, I'm sorry, just the stomp. And beats Drew. This was after Seth had been hit with a Claymore, and he kicked out of that. But this was a great World Heavyweight Championship match here. I gave it 4 3/4 stars. It was really great back and forth stuff. Afterwards, there's no handshake or anything like that. Like, Drew's looking like perplexed. He's kind of walking to the back. And then Judgment Day's music hits, and Damian Priest comes out like he's going to cash in the briefcase. But a hooded figure attacks Damian Priest, and when the figure reveals himself, it's Sami Zayn. He takes the briefcase, not the briefcase, the contract, and he runs off with it, and Damian Priest is running with that.
The briefcase.
Okay, you're allowing me to call it a briefcase, so...
he took the briefcase with the contract in it, so...
And, they chase each other to the back, and Seth's happy. He basically kept his title, and this is obviously following through Sami Zayn's promise where he mentioned that he was going to make sure that Judgment Day couldn't get power, so he just stole the contract. Afterwards, backstage, Drew is still upset that he lost the title, and not the title, but the title match. And Rhea Ripley comes up and just kind of, looks at him like, hey, you should have taken the deal, pretty much. And Drew, looks like he regrets it.
I told you so, look.
Yep. But anyhow, what did you think of the title match and the post-match stuff with Damian cashing in, and then the backstage bit with Drew McIntyre?
Overall, I thought this was a great match. I give it a at least 4 stars out of 5. I'm trying to think. 4 stars out of 5. I would have liked to see Drew win the title, but it didn't happen. But it was still a really good match. I definitely don't think this is the end of this feud. I think now that Drew's lost and he sees he can't beat Seth straight up, maybe we'll start seeing him try to get a little more deceitful in winning that belt.
Right, definitely.
And not only that, but now we know Seth is going to be a lot more aware of Damian Priest being in the background now, considering he was that close to cashing in on him, and Seth was screwed if he did.
Absolutely.
It's going to be interesting to see where it goes from here, because now, obviously, Sami Zayn's still going to be feuding with the Judgment Day because he stole the case, but brings up the question, why wasn't anyone else out there with Damian Priest when he went to cash in? And he's going to bring that up. Where were you guys?
Yeah.
Jump me if you were there when you could have stopped him. And I definitely, because like we had said earlier, with JD McDonough still being on the outskirts of the group, that's only because of Damian Priest.
Yeah, definitely.
If Finn had it his way, he'd be in the group. If Dom had it his way, he'd be in the group. I don't think Rhea really cares either way.
I do have to ask too. This is a thing that happens a lot with the Money in the Bank briefcase holders. I don't know why when it comes to someone wanting to screw someone over, why not let them cash in and then attack the guy that's cashing in and cause a DQ? Because then he loses his whole briefcase. He can't even cash it in anymore. I thought that would have been. I think they should do that someday. I thought this could have been a perfect chance to.
I've always thought that would actually work out pretty well myself, but I've also been the kind of person that says, hey, if you think someone's behind you, why don't you just look at the big fucking screen that's everywhere in the arena, and if you see them, instead of turning around, just throw a mule kick or something. Get out of the way.
Fair, yeah.
I've always said, I want someone to debut with a gimmick where they're just smart, like they don't play by the WWE rules, like they do stuff like that, like when they're watching a TV, they're watching it straight on. They're like, what are you doing? Not giving myself a future neck injury because I'm looking at a TV straight on instead of tilting my neck at an uncomfortable angle.
I guess it'd be tough to do that type of gimmick because then you have to explain, well, why are the other wrestlers not that way type of thing? So it's like,
The joke is everyone thinks this is the one crazy person, but he's the one smart person.
I like that, though. So yeah, then we had the next match. It was a fatal 5-way match for the Women's World Championship. It was Rhea Ripley defending against Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Raquel Rodriguez. Yeah, the match that cost me the championship. I had a 1-month reign with the championship, and it went right back to Chris Dodd. So you're probably wondering why it cost me the championship. Well, I'll tell you when we give you the match. But yeah, Nia Jax just rolls out of the ring immediately. Before we actually talk about that, Rhea Ripley had a special entrance in this match. It's a big thing they do in Saudi Arabia where they had like a bunch of people come out and they treated her like she was like a grand person and everything like that, and she just had a normal entrance pretty much. It's pretty cool. Yeah. I've never seen them do this before, and it's good to see that this happened to a woman in Saudi Arabia, kind of showing, that WWE is changing the culture now in Saudi Arabia. At least, from what at least from what we are seeing. So that's good. But yeah, and I won't say anything more about that. I tried not to keep my stuff political, but when I kind of had to talk about it there. So
right, because it's such a big deal.
But Nia Jax rolls out of the ring and leaves everybody else to face each other. And pretty much it went Shayna brawled with Raquel and Rhea brawled with Zoe, which was cool. And I don't know what happens to Raquel with this match, because what happens to her isn't even all that bad, but she's laid out for like a while in this match. I don't even understand what happened, but it just happened. Zoe Stark got on a roll though. She had like a lot of offense in this match, had a really good suplex and everything like that. They gave Shayna some time to shine. She did this bit where she locked, I think it was Raquel in an ankle lock and Nia in a sleeper hold. And Zoe Stark pretty much had to come break it up, which was cool. I liked that. Raquel got in a lot of offense, and then she went for the Tahana Bomb, but it was countered into a DDT by Rhea Ripley, which was awesome. Rhea Ripley went on a dominant streak, and that's kind of what the match was. Someone would just get into a dominant streak, and when Nia got in the match, everybody just worked together to take out Nia. They did a really good double suplex on the Nia. Nia hit a body slam followed by a leg drop and went for the cover, but it wasn't the pin. And there was a Tower of Doom spot. I believe Raquel, Zoe Stark all did one, and Rhea came up and did a power bomb, which was cool. Zoe Stark hit a really good dive on the outside, And yeah, the landing wasn't the greatest because it looked like she landed pretty badly on her knee. She was limping a little bit. I don't know if she was just selling or what. And then she hits the C630 onto Rhea Ripley, but it gets broken up before she can make the pin. And then eventually Rhea Ripley hits the Riptide on Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark breaks that up. And then there's more of a brawl. And then eventually, so this is what cost me the championship. So Chris and I's predictions were the same for every match. I just had to basically get the tiebreaker right. He predicted that Shayna was going to take the pin, and I predicted that Zoe was going to take the pin. Well, I got screwed. I got screwed because it looked like it was going that way. But then Rhea Ripley hit the Riptide onto Zoe, onto Raquel Rodriguez, who was pinning Shayna Baszler. So I'm like, yes, someone to retain right here. But of course she pins Shayna Baszler because she just happens to still be there. So, yeah, Rhea Ripley pins Shayna Baszler. She retains the title, and I lost mine. So that was disappointing. But yeah, so they tried to say one championship change hands across.
If it makes you feel any better, that means you are entitled to a championship rematch clause at Survivor Series.
There you go.
There's the good news. Bad news. I'm invoking my right to a championship match, so it's going to be a triple threat.
Oh, damn, son. Wait, and if it's...
I'm back. I'm taking my title.
Oh, yeah, so yeah, if you win, it's just not going to be good for anybody. But yeah, overall, I thought this was a very good...
It's going to be good for anybody. Damn.
But yeah, I thought this was a very good five-way, though. I thought everybody got their chance to shine. The only time the match was really bad was when Nia was in it and doing anything offensively, but that was it. I thought everybody got a chance to shine. Rhea won, and I like that it was Shayna that was pinned, the only reason she was pinned is because she took two finishes. So I thought they protected Shayna, even though she was kind of the one that got pinned. So that was good. So I give it 3 3/4 stars. What about you? Anything?
I give it 2.5 stars. It was just mid-tier. Meh.
There you go.
I'll mention it later when we talk about Roman Reigns. We've talked about it in discussion before, but Rhea is unfortunately, credit to Roman. It took him 1,000 days to really fall into that category of, okay, this is getting old.
Right.
Rhea's only been champion. I say only been champion by comparison. She's been champion for a while, since Mania, but she's starting to fall into that category of this is getting old.
Yeah, and it's tough because
I'm trying to think who's going to beat her. Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe Becky Lynch.
Yeah, but I feel like Becky's going to put her over, though. I don't see Becky.
Other than that, the only other person who could beat her is probably Jade Cargill.
Yeah. A lot of people predicted Liv Morgan comes back, wins the Rumble, and beats her, but I'm like, I don't know if Liv Morgan's the person to beat her. So,
yeah, they're gonna really have to work to push Liv.
Right, and but yeah, I kind of agree with you. I don't know. I feel like Rhea's title reign never really got going too because she went through a period of time where she was there and just did defend the title too, and I think she missed a few PLEs without defending the championship. So it's like I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Because she has a lot of opponents she can face. It just seems like she does it at the same time, too, with that.
And she just beat 4 of them, so now that list just went...
Yeah, so... afterwards, they show some Saudi Arabia hype where they pretty much had, like, a little video that played where, like, members of the roster talked about how great it was for them to be in Saudi Arabia. I think it was, like, Bayley, LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins, from what I remember. It was okay.
Yeah.
And then, we got the Survivor Series ad. This is where it announced that War Games is coming back. This had been reported for a little bit, but now it's officially confirmed that War Games is coming back. We're not necessarily sure in what capacity, because I imagine Judgment Day will have a match, and then there'll be a women's one, but there's no real women's faction like there was last year that can really be in it, so I don't know how they're going to do a women's War Games match this year. So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the who's going to be in the War Games match is another question, but as it stands right now, I think I speak for a lot of people out there when I say the biggest question heading into Survivor Series, and it has to do with where it is CM Punk going to be there? And normally, this would be a very, very easy no for me. This is the first time in years where if you ask me, is CM Punk going to be at a WWE event? My answer is, I don't know.
I know. I was actually
a lot more than a no.
Yeah. I was actually going to save this for the end, but you brought it up. There was a news thing that came out recently. It's from... I get all my news stuff from the Dirt Sheet Radio Facebook page, just because that's easy, convenient.
I've seen that it is reportedly still on the table, but that doesn't mean it's confirmed. I mean, and it's like, I'll just be honest, people say that's just like, that's not news. Obviously, it's on the table.
Right? Yeah, that wasn't a thing.
Obviously, I'm not checking the dirt sheets for this return anymore because if they're going to do this return, it's going to be so well protected that you are never going to know about it until CM Punk would walk out that aisle, which we don't know if it's going to happen.
Right. Because it's been reported for a little bit, and then they recent reports, I don't even know how recent it was, said like all of a sudden they weren't interested, but I do wonder if WWE leaked that out so that way like we wouldn't think he's coming back. That's what I think is kind of going on now.
I do too. I mean, I've always said it, and I think the best example of someone who did it right was Marvel Studios with Spider-Man No Way Home. Hey, is Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire going to come back? No. They show up, hey, you guys lied to us. Yeah. Big effing deal. We wanted to hide a secret. So, yeah, we lied to you. Get over it. And, you know what the dirt sheets in Hollywood said? They went, okay.
Edge did the same thing in 2020 when he announced his comeback, like before he was going.
Like, you want the truth. If you want to hide a good secret, lie. Lie your ass off. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. So, I think he's coming back. I definitely think that a good indication to know if he's coming back or not is if they do not a Survivor Series match, a War Games match, and there's a mystery partner. I think that Punk's probably going to be the mystery guy that comes out. So, but we'll see.
Everyone, they're waiting for that mystery partner. The countdown's buzzing. Everyone's waiting for CM Punk, and out comes the wrestling thug, Brad Maddox.
Stealing everyone's hopes and dreams about CM Punk coming back.
So. He is a thug, so he would be stealing those hopes and dreams, quite literally.
You got your wrestling thug, you got Dominic Mysterio. So
yeah, he'd steal the hopes and dreams along with Michael Cole's wallet.
And potentially the check for, well, I guess they wouldn't be doing that.
That was probably my worst what if booking. That was a good one.
That one and the Young Bucks super kicking the Shusachi Copen.
Oh, jeez. That was a good one.
That was a good one. But yeah, next, speaking of, everyone's hopes and dreams being crushed, John Cena wrestled Solo Sikoa.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about? I'm gonna let you talk about this. You want to talk about it?
Yeah. So, typical Solo Cena entrances. I say typical Solo entrances. Not much to that, but Cena had a big pop. Crowd was going insane for him. Yeah. Match kicked off, and we had really good back and forth offense between both. It wasn't really a squash match on either one, and then Cena was going for the finish. Essentially, there's not really much to this match, to describe move-wise.
Right.
I feel like just, a lot of back and forth offense, and I always say, the big parts of the match you usually talk about is always that final 5 minutes.
The biggest thing I want to mention is John Cena does a choke slam in this match. So I think that's the biggest thing to mention.
He does. He does do a choke slam, but yeah, we get to the end, and Cena's going for his finishers. I think he was going for a shoulder block, and Solo was able to jab him with the thumb.
Yep.
And then from there, Solo was able to hit the Samoan spike 2 more times.
Yeah.
And rather than going for the pinfall, he picks Cena up just by the head while he's still on the ground and just Samoan spiked the shit out of him over and over and over again, and then goes for the pin, and Solo Sikoa wound up beating Cena. I went into this match thinking Solo was actually going to win.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel right for Cena to win his first big match in years against Solo, and this match was honestly one of the better ones of the night, because even though I feel like there were people out there who thought Solo could pull it off, no one thought he was gonna have a squash finish, essentially, where he just decimated Cena.
Yeah, I like this a lot. I have my predictions. I even said they could tell a really good storyline with John Cena where he just can't get the big win anymore, because they actually brought it up on TV where he hadn't won a singles match in like 2,000 plus days, and I'm like, but even though John Cena's not this way anymore, when it comes to WWE, anytime they used to show vulnerability with Cena, they would always squash it in a second. They didn't do that this time. They actually had Solo win. I'm really happy about this because you have a chance to tell a really great story with John Cena now, where he just can't get the big win. This could lead to his retirement, and you need Solo to finally look strong, because we should mention Solo won clean. He didn't have any interference or anything like that, and I think that
not at all. And that's a lot more than Roman can say about any of his matches.
So I actually think, because a big storyline that's going to happen is probably Roman and Solo splitting up pretty soon. I could see Solo one day.
Yeah.
Not anytime soon, but I could see Solo being like, I'm getting the job done on my own, and we're having to come bail you out, pretty much, type of thing now. So,
I think that's going to happen either right before or right after WrestleMania.
Yeah, which will be awesome.
Probably after.
Yeah.
But, no, down the line, Solo Sikoa is definitely going to be a threat to Roman.
Honestly, I could see, after Roman loses the title, if it's this year at WrestleMania, because I'm in my head, I'm thinking he's clearly losing at Mania this year, but I thought that last year. So,
yeah.
But I could see after Roman loses, he comes out and has a thin, and Solo and Paul Heyman turn on him, being like, and that's because there was reports that they want to make Roman a big time babyface. That'd be, he needs a good heel to go with, and Solo would be perfect for that. So, because I think when Roman does lose the title, he's gonna take a long break from TV too. Like, we're not gonna see him for a while, I don't think. And I think,
I think he'll take a long break, so when he comes back, he feels more inclined to stick around.
Yeah. But yeah, I really like this match a lot. I'm gonna give it 3 3/4 stars, just because, mainly for the finish alone. It's probably a 3 1/4 star match, but then that finish just really makes it. And
3 3/4 is good for me too, I think.
And I like this a lot. This is gonna be. I don't think Cena's leaving completely, but he's gonna be gone for a little bit. So this was a perfect way to write him off. It's really interesting that he is being written off, because he could still be there. It is kind of questionable, because it's why would you write him off? Because then if the strike ends, then you don't have him. But it's that's...
Yeah, and obviously he's just around until that strike ends. But even so, I think he's done for the remainder of the year, probably.
Yeah, and then he'll come back, and I'm not sure what he does when he comes back. Does he go back to feuding with Solo? Does he feud with somebody else? You honestly have a chance. It's too late. You could turn Cena heel from this, saying, hey, I can't get the job done now. But, it might be too late. But, yeah, I like this a lot. We should talk about this. I'm kind of surprised you do star ratings, because you don't stick me as the guy that does star ratings. Because of where the system
it's
comes
happening.
from. Oh, there it is.
It's happening. Yep.
It always happens once.
Yep, Kat Steiner has made their appearance for the episode.
Yep. It's always on camera, too. Always when we record.
You just love showing the camera your ass, don't you?
But then now, again, you don't strike me as the person that does star rating and all that type of stuff, so I'm kind of surprised you do them, because of where that system comes from. So,
yeah, it's... You know what? I'm not gonna let Dave Meltzer ruin my good time.
There you go.
I figure people have been living that way for years. There's no reason I can't.
Next, though, we had a promo segment, and I don't know if you've watched. I don't know if you've watched my past videos. One thing I don't like is promo segments on pay-per-views. Obviously, there's exceptions to it, where WrestleMania 30, the opening there is an exception. But, typically I don't love them. I can kind of understand why they did it here with who ends up having the segment, but The Miz comes out to host Miz TV, and now he's pretty much in babyface mode now. He's really into the crowd and everything like that, and he brings out his guest, which is Ibram Al-Hajjaf. I probably butchered that really badly, but
Yeah.
he's a big actor in Saudi Arabia, so you can kind of understand why they did this promo segment, because they clearly wanted this, give this guy the time, because he's not going to be around after this show. The Miz is about to interview him. I don't even think they get much of a conversation really going or anything like that. And then it gets interrupted by Grayson Waller. And Grayson Waller wants to know why this guy, Abram, chose to be on Miz TV. And he basically takes it over. He turns the Miz TV into the Grayson Waller effect. And everybody comes out, and the Miz is just like, you really work for this guy? Like, it was pretty funny. And, the Miz makes fun of him, and Grayson Waller has this guy choose whether he wants to be on Miz TV or the Grayson Waller effect. And Abram picks Miz TV, and Grayson Waller gives him another chance to change his mind. He's new to the company, he was going to give him a break. He still picks Miz TV. There's a running joke that he does where he mentions something in their language. And I think it's meant to be like, let's go Miz or something, but he says something like in language where it's clearly an insult to Grayson Waller, but he doesn't pick up on it. I didn't pick up on it either, but I think that's what it was meant to be.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, Grayson Waller's had enough, and the guy goes to sucker punch him, but Grayson Waller sucker punches him instead. And then the Miz attacks him, he lays him out with the big boots. He is about to lay him out with the skull crushing finale, but then the guy's Abram's on the apron, and he's like, come on, let me have him. So he does an insecurity, Miz lays him out with the skull crushing finale, and then he hits an electrifying elbow drop onto him, and that's basically the segment here. Good fun here, I thought the Miz and Grayson Waller worked good together. I would like to see them feud in the future, because Grayson Waller is pretty much a young version of the Miz, so I thought that was kind of cool they had a segment together. I'm definitely into babyface Miz. So, what do you think of this segment? Anything else you want to say about it?
I thought it was pretty good. I definitely like the direction they're going with Miz. Ultimately, unfortunately, I think it's just to give Gunther another opponent to beat.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I really don't know who's going to beat him for the the Intercontinental Championship at this point.
I still don't know either, yeah.
I think, maybe like Braun Breaker when he makes his debut could be an option.
I'd still like Chad Gable just because that's a great story to tell, but,
if they eventually down the line want to have Bloodline and Imperium against each other, Solo Sikoa,
that'd be cool.
Obviously, especially after Crown Jewel, is definitely an option.
Especially, too, because they have a history from the NXT days, actually, too. That was like...
Yep.
That was Walter's first opponent, he faced when he came to...
I think if they want to... Because the guy who wasn't on this show, but was on the SmackDown before, Butch, and everything about him is perfect except for one thing. Butch is such a dumb name. It's Pete Dunne. We all know it.
I call him that.
Give him his name back and have him feud with Gunther.
Yeah.
Or, maybe you keep them as Butch and Gunther, but they address the fact that, once upon a time it was Pete Dunne and Walter.
They've been good about doing that, like when Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, have had an altercation since Pete Dunne's had his name changed. They reference their history. So, But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this segment was good.
But yeah, and then I was gonna say another funny thing is, we only have 3 PLEs left before WrestleMania. Survivor Series this month.
Yeah.
Royal Rumble January, and then Elimination Chamber in February, which is gonna be in Perth, Australia. And it's funny because Grayson Waller is gonna be going from the most hated guy in the room to Superman.
Yeah, I wonder how that's gonna work out. Is he gonna
I would like to see, even if it's just for a night of him being the babyface, Grayson Waller versus the United States champion, which I think is the next match.
Right. I do want to mention a news thing
we'll get to it.
Since we're on the topic of Walter real quick, because it's on Dirt Sheet Radio also. We're not going to see Walter travel for a while outside of the United States. And the reason for that, I have to find this, because there's a reason for it. Where is it? We're not even live. I can't even say we're live, pal. This is going to be edited after that. But,
well, you know, the skeptics... I'm sorry, can we do this again? No, this is live, pal.
I can't find it right now, but apparently there's a big thing where... Okay, hold on, I think... Oh, here it is. So, Walter was not allowed to leave the United States for the next 6 months due to strict residency regulations. So that means he's not going to be at Elimination Chamber. That's why he wasn't at this show, because he's got, strict residency regulations. I hope he can get those worked out by the time they go to Germany, which I assume he can. I don't exactly know. I'm not, schooled in how that works, but I don't exactly know what caused that, pretty much. So, it would be...
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, but... Yeah, the next match is the United States Championship match. It's Rey Mysterio defending against Logan Paul. And Logan Paul had a special entrance here. They show him that he went off to the desert earlier in the day. He was just doing donuts in the desert, and then he, sped up and just drove. Even though it's weird, if you could follow WWE on Instagram, it shows him arrive into the building, earlier in the day, so I don't understand, how that happened, but whatever.
He got lost.
I guess so. But yeah, he speeds up.
His GPS broke down. That's why it took him so long to get from the desert to the stadium.
Would he leave though? Would he leave and come back then or something? I
guess so. He was so nervous he needed to clear his head.
But yeah, he speeds up and he pulls up to the arena. This was a really good entrance. Not as good as the entrance he had last year, but a really good one. And yeah, Rey Mysterio just had his typical entrance. And these two worked a very good match with each other. I think that helps that they've been in the ring with each other before, but this was the first time in a one-on-one capacity. Rey Mysterio dominates early. He is basically out-quicking Logan Paul. Logan Paul, though, is teasing that he's going to go for the knockout punch, but Rey keeps avoiding it and everything like that. And then Rey Mysterio tries to go for a springboard moonsault, and Logan Paul catches him. And I think he lost his footing a little bit, because what happens is he trips, but he's able to recover it because he just drives him shoulder first into his chest, into his shoulder, I mean. Let me explain. Let me go back. So
yeah, he gave him he drove his shoulder into his knee because Ray's head would have bounced off the canvas as he was moonsaulting into Logan Paul.
There you go.
Essentially, Ray was supposed to go off the middle rope, so I'll use my hands as an example. Supposed to flip onto him like this and, just body him. He took the dive too low, so he would have hit his head off the mat, and essentially his knees would have come into his chest, which A, the move would have looked like crap, and B, Ray's neck would have been in bad shape.
Definitely.
But Logan was able to see it, so he basically leaned in, caught him, and just went down to a knee, and not only saved him, but was able to make it look like an effective reversal because he hit him with a shoulder breaker into his knee.
Thank you.
So, it's crazy how technical that sounds. And then we get to the punchline of this, which is Logan Paul did that. The celebrity who everyone... The gimmick is supposed to be he's the celebrity who doesn't deserve it, yet he's proven he is not a celebrity who wrestles. He's a wrestler who is also a celebrity.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think
he proved that, and probably by the end of his second match, which was SummerSlam 2022.
Yeah, definitely. So then, Logan Paul takes control. He's hitting a lot of really great body shots on the way, and then he misses a charge into the corner, and he goes shoulder first into the post and falls out of the ring, and Ray hits a really good suicide dive to the outside, and Ray mounts a comeback, and then Logan Paul does the backflip, springboard clothesline. He does lose his footing a little bit, but Michael Cole covered that up pretty well on commentary, so I thought that was a good job by Michael Cole. And he doesn't get the pin there. And then eventually the match spills into chaos. One of Logan Paul's cronies, I think this is the same guy from SummerSlam that helped him beat Ricochet. He hands Logan Paul brass knuckles, but Ray hits a enziguri onto him, which causes him to lose the brass knuckles. So the guy's trying to make sure he's hidden so the ref doesn't see him, so he's like crawling underneath the ring and everything like that. And right when he's about to grab the brass knuckles, we see somebody jump the barricade, and I like this shot here because it looked like it was like the guy was in trouble and everything like that. We find out it's Santos Escobar. He grabs the brass knuckles. He starts attacking this guy, but he screws up. He inadvertently drops the brass knuckles onto the apron, and Ray.
We'll talk about that in a sec.
Ray, still sets him up. He still hits him with the 619, and during this, Logan Paul grabs the brass knuckles while Ray is even going for the 619. And I think they actually did a good job on the bump explaining this. I think he took the 619 to get Ray's guard down, so that way, when Ray hit the springboard, he wouldn't, he wouldn't see the shot coming, so he goes for the springboard, and then he ends up, Logan Paul hits a right hand with the brass knuckles, and Logan Paul beats Rey Mysterio to become the new United States Champion. I thought this match was great. I gave it 4 stars. I thought these two styles really worked with each other, and, while this match was a bit sloppy in places, I actually thought, I actually don't mind if a match is a little sloppy because it makes it look legit and everything like that, and I thought this kind of worked well and everything like that. And I liked the ending bit. I think the ending bit with Santos leaving the brass knuckles, And I'm going to let you... I'm going to let you talk about that.
I give it a 4 out of 5. I definitely think that's going to be a big contention point going forward. Was that an accident, or did Santos put them there intentionally for Logan to get Ray with them? And not only that, it should be mentioned now because, spoiler, we know who wins the main event. That's not a spoiler. That's not going to surprise anyone. Roman. Sorry. Yeah. But now it should be noted, we now have 2 part-time champs on SmackDown. That being Roman Reigns and Logan Paul. So I don't know how I feel about that because, on one hand, you're going to have Logan Paul being champion, still the right call, I think.
I definitely think it is. Yeah.
I blame Roman more than I do Logan in that position because whereas Logan is a legitimate celebrity and can do a lot outside of WWE to promote the business with his belt, and when he shows up, he's there. Not saying Roman isn't, but this is all you do. You are a professional wrestler. Go to work, do your job, but I don't know if it's the way Roman's contract is written or if it's the way that WWE wants to handle it. It has to stop. Yeah. It's getting really old. And no disrespect to the women's division of SmackDown. They can't run that show all by themselves. Roman can't run the show all by himself. You need a fully comprehensive show to run SmackDown. You need the full roster, but I don't think one guy, that being LA Knight, and the Women's Championship is going to be enough to keep SmackDown afloat. They're going to need to figure something out, whether that be bringing the Judgment Day over and having them feature the tag belts more prominently on SmackDown than on Raw.
Right. Yeah, and I've talked about this before too. It also, having 2-part champions, if they can't be there, what does it give the male wrestlers really to fight for? They don't have anything unless it is the tag belts. And then, again, I want to, maybe Logan Paul will be a little bit more full-time. He'll have, the Edge schedule that he had before he left, where he shows up on occasions and everything like that. I've been a pretty big defender on Roman's title reign. I didn't mind him being a part-timer, but I think this last stretch with him missing from the SmackDown after SummerSlam until you
All
know.
the way to October.
Yeah, it was a bit much.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it is.
He also has to defend.
Yeah, we've mentioned why before, and we'll get to that after the interview.
But overall, you know, Logan Paul definitely being U.S. champion works because the U.S. title isn't very prestigious right now. So I think Logan Paul having the belt will make it really prestigious. It's going to get WWE a lot of clicks because he'll be on his YouTube show with it. He's going to be showcasing that there. I think Logan Paul will be a little bit more of a full-timer than Roman Reigns will be just because he doesn't have any boxing fights in line. So I don't think he'd wrestle on TV or anything like that. I could definitely see him doing Survivor Series at the very least. I definitely could see him doing that. So
I could see that, yeah. Maybe LWO. Yeah, that's actually a good point. LWO could be the War Games match this year.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. Also,
LWO versus Logan's Posse.
I liked at the end, by the way, because we didn't mention this. Logan Paul even went after Ray had lost. He went to the corner and he showed respect to Rey Mysterio, and Ray's just like, "We know what you did, Logan." Logan's just like, "What are you talking about? I won the match man square."
Yeah,
like
that was funny. Ray was just looking up like, "Fuck you."
I liked it.
Yeah, now that I say that out loud, that's probably a good guess at what we'll see is LWO in the War Games.
I like that.
I think that's a match that really favors the LWO because all those guys are decent high flyers. Ray, Santos.
They would just have to. They would just have to find people like to face, like, because they've been feuding with Bobby Lashley and his faction lately, but they only have Lashley has Lashley and the Street Profits, so only 3 people. They're gonna have to get a couple more people. So,
yeah, you could do something like could it be what Ray, Santos, Phantasma, and Carlito? So that's 5.
Okay.
Versus Bobby, the Prophets, Logan, and
yeah, because they had a
5th man.
I like Carmelo Hayes, but I don't think he's. I think it's too soon.
Yeah,
probably.
Probably like either Theory or Waller, because that way you give the heels the one up, because whichever one it's not can be on the outside of the cage running interference.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of options they have with the War Games match this year, which I like. I definitely think Judgment Day's having a War Games match though. I don't see them not having one. So.
At least Rhea.
Definitely Rhea, yeah. But yeah, let's continue. Next, Bianca Belair gets interviewed by Jackie Redmond, and Jackie Redmaster, you know, if she's feeling confident going into this match tonight. And Bianca says that she's really looking forward to it. She said that, you know, Io Sky took 2 months off of her career, and she talks about how she dealt with damage control on SmackDown, so that it shouldn't be there, which was a lie. And then, yeah, that was it. So I thought this interview was pretty okay. I don't think Jackie Redmond really asked the right questions, but that's just me. What do you think of this interview? I thought it was alright.
Is it me or does Jackie Redmond kind of suck?
She hasn't been very good.
Just be blunt. I don't find her very entertaining at all. I don't find that she has the same, like, presence that Kayla or Kathy Kelly do.
Even Mackenzie Mitchell, I think, has a better presence than she does.
Yeah.
So,
also, it should be noted, Byron Saxton was doing ring announcing for the night, and he was out of nowhere, like, one of the best ring announcers in years in WWE.
Yeah, I really wish they would.
He dropped his voice a couple octaves and really delivered when he was announcing names.
I think he should be the ring announcer for SmackDown now. I think that he would be awesome at that. Just because I feel bad for him, because he got kind of the shaft, because he was doing really well in commentary, and then they just took him off of it for no reason.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. Maybe give him what was it? Was it Gene Oak? No, it was Howard Finkel. Give him the gimmick where, like, when he turned heel, and he'd be like, and now I gotta get something off my chest, and he just rip on the... give that to Byron. Because Byron was on NXT. He can take bumps.
He can. They never mentioned that he was a wrestler, though, so it's weird.
I still think one of the biggest missed opportunities earlier on was when Corey Graves got cleared to wrestle. Is you didn't do something where, like, after just years of Corey verbally abusing Byron, Byron just snaps and like beats the shit out of him on commentary. And
Yeah.
then, like Corey gets him arrested, and then Byron gets out of jail, and they're fighting at ringside, and it like leads up to a WrestleMania match between the two.
I would have loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be Cole versus King, except good.
Yeah, I would have loved it. WrestleMania 22 would have been the perfect place for that too, because that's how weird that WrestleMania was. So, but next we had a women's championship match. It was Io Sky defending against Bianca Belair. Overall, this was a really good match here. I really enjoyed it. Pretty standard stuff. I think the Backlash match was a little better, mainly because of the crowd atmosphere. I did kind of feel like the crowd really wasn't into that match as I would have liked them to be, but it was still really good stuff. Eventually, Bayley does run out to run interference, and Bianca was pretty much in danger of losing. Not Bianca, Io Sky was pretty much in danger of losing. So that tied in. They're still kind of keeping that storyline going, and it's going to get real interesting in a second. And Bianca's beating them both up. She's about to hit the KOT on Bayley, either on the floor or through the table. Pick which one you think was going to happen. And then Kairi Sane finally returns. She hits a spinning back fist on Bianca. This is all behind the ref's back. The ref really wasn't doing his job here. And she hits a flying knee, sending Bianca into the post. She almost gets counted out, but she best barely beats the count. And then Io Sky hits the moonsault on Bianca, gets the win, retains the championship, and then afterwards, for good measure, they beat up Bianca some more. Io Sky and Kairi Sane, and Kairi Sane hits the elbow drop on her, which is the first time I've seen her do that. Well, I guess since she won the New Japan Women's title, I guess that's the last time I've seen her do that. And then there's a great moment here where Bayley's surprised about this because last time we saw Kairi Sane was when Bayley took her out on Raw doing not even the Thunderdome era, it was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, so obviously they're going to tie that in really well. This was when I kind of knew, this is a Triple H show right here because, there was obviously reports that Vince and stuff was going to be backstage, so they were worried he was going to mess with this show. But nope, this is kind of when you knew, this is a Triple H show tonight because that would not have gotten bought.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you get the joke, Vince likes to hang out with Kane and Undertaker.
Yep.
You have to see the pictures to get the joke.
Yeah, I get it. But yeah, I really like this. It's really interesting now to see how Kairi Sane being back now is going to be used now because Bayley didn't look like she was happy to see Kairi Sane, so I'm interested in how they follow this up on SmackDown.
I think Damage Control has a few warriors on the horizon, if you catch my drift.
Yeah. So I like this a lot. Match was 3.5 stars. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a little overbooked at the end with the Bayley interference, but other than that, I thought it was really good.
I think I'd give it 3 3/4. 3 3/4 for me. Kairi Sane coming back was awesome. And there are now reports that this is going to be at the start of a new faction for Io Sky, cutting off Bayley and Dakota Kai.
Right.
Yeah, this really shook me up because this time of year I start trying to play the guessing game for WrestleMania, and my guessing game was a Damage Control triple threat, which is still plausible.
Yeah, I have to think. Because Dakota Kai's... I have to think if Dakota Kai will be ready by then, so...
I think she will be, but regardless, even though they did this obviously to make Io look a little more dominant, I just don't see them turning Bayley face quite yet. I feel like Bayley is so good at being a piece of shit heel that it'd make more sense to maybe make Io Sky more of an anti-hero.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Where she'll take shortcuts, but she's not like outright an asshole.
Essentially what she was in NXT before she got called up.
Yeah, and I think her and Kairi Sane being paired up is awesome. I definitely see Asuka being involved in this somehow, either as feuding with them or possibly teaming up with them. And then there are rumors that Saray, who was once in NXT, may be returning to WWE, to SmackDown, not NXT.
Well, There was reports
You
she was
do that,
gonna,
yeah.
yeah. There was reports she was going to
What
come
do you
back to. There was reports that she was going to come back to the United States, and it wasn't going to be with WWE. But now that's changed recently and stuff. So it's like, you know, it's cool.
Yeah, so, you know, we could be seeing the Kabuki Warriors not only reform through Asuka and Kairi Sane, but expand with Io
Yeah.
and Sarette, which would be awesome. But that begs the question, you know, where does that leave Bayley and Dakota? And I think ultimately what you see is you know, if you do that, I think if you see Bayley become a little more dastardly and vicious in her tactics rather than just being an annoying heel, she'll actually start, like, attacking people more viciously.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Because my prediction is still Bayley beats Io at the Royal Rumble for the title, but Dakota Kai wins the Women's Rumble out of nowhere.
Okay. That would be interesting. I was thinking the opposite. Bayley wins the Rumble. They face Io for the title, but I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I'm still really
And
not
then,
sure.
yeah. If you do that, that way you have the damage control triple threat. Io gets a rematch at Mania, but Dakota jumps in on it through the Rumble win.
Yeah, I would like that because they haven't done something like that in a while. And then we had the semi-main events. It's Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest. Damian Priest is pissed because he doesn't have his briefcase, so he's just out there with no briefcase. So he's already pissed enough as it is. Cody comes out. Damian Priest immediately attacks him, just beats the crap out of him. And this is kind of a greatest hits that they would do with each other. The biggest spot of the match is Damian Priest hits the Reckoning onto Cody onto the Arabic announce table, which completely breaks the announce table. And then there's about to be some interference. Finn Balor comes out and he tries to run interference, but you know, it doesn't really work. Cody sees it coming too much, and then eventually Jey Uso runs interference. He chases the rest of Judgment Day off with the chair. They wrestle for a few more minutes, and Cody Rhodes then hits 3 crossroads in a row on Damian Priest for the win. I thought the match was very good. I gave it 3 3/4 stars. And yeah, I definitely think it was good for Cody to get the win here. They didn't really play up to the fact that his ankle was injured. Damian Priest worked on it, but it wasn't a big thing in the match like you thought it would have been, so why put it there? But they just did. And then yeah, I don't think this is over yet though. I definitely think we're getting some type of War Games match with Cody and other people versus Judgment Day. So, yeah. Overall, I thought this was very good. I give it 3 3/4 stars. Anything you want to say about it?
Yeah, you know, I mentioned I think LWO gets a War Games match, but there's nothing that says they can't do more than just the 1 man and 1 woman's. Like, you can do multiple War Games matches. Like, you have the cages there, you might as well make good use of them.
Yeah.
But before I get to that, 3.5 stars for the match. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was either man's best match, but it was still a good match from both. Happy to see Cody get the win. Obviously, this is not the end of their feud. But from here, I think you can definitely do something like, you know, Sami Zayn goads Priest into accepting a War Games match on Judgment Day's behalf, and you know, he goes into doing it, saying like, "Hey, if you accept, I'll give you the briefcase back." And Judgment Day's like, "Oh, we need to talk about this." And Priest is like, "You know, screw you guys. That's my case. Yeah, we accept." And then you keep dividing the Judgment Day up through that.
Yeah, I definitely like that. I still wonder what they're going to do with Damian Priest as a case holder, because if Punk comes back, he's probably going to be the guy that beats Rollins for the title, and then, like, where does Damian Priest cash in? Like, it's really...
I was saying, you know what you can do to make it interesting is, you do something like, you know, you can make that interesting, because obviously Cody, Jay, and Sammy get on the same page, and they're looking for who their 4th guy is going to be. And initially, you know, they maybe make the trip over to SmackDown to try and get Kevin to do it, and Kevin says no, and maybe set up something down the line between Sammy and Kevin again, because that's just a feud that keeps on giving.
Right.
But then you come back and they're looking for someone, and they wind up with Seth Rollins being like, "You know what, I've already defended my belt this month. I'll help you guys against Judgment Day at War Games." And you get the War Games, and they're ready for, you know, they're ready for Cody, Jay, Sammy, and Seth versus Finn, Damian, Dominic, and JD. And then before the match, Damian's like, "Oh, JD, I need you to go to this spot in the arena and get something for me." And next thing you know, JD's mysteriously laid out. He's like, "Oh man, we need someone to help. Oh gee, who's gonna be the replacement?" They get Drew McIntyre.
Oh, that'd be yeah.
Step in, and then the idea there is he gets Drew because he knows he's gonna absolutely beat the hell out of Seth. And now Damian's concern isn't winning the match, it's inflicting as much damage on Seth during the match so that regardless of the outcome, he can cash in.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that ends up costing Judgment Day the War Games match because he's not focusing on getting the pin, he's just focusing on doing the damage. And then, they lose, but Damon still tries to cash in, and then maybe from there you have Judgment Day finally turn on Damian Priest and not allow him to get that cash in.
Right. I just don't know how he still cashes in, though, because they have to still get... Because he has a year to cash in. Are they just going to wait Because that'd be a cool concept. Like, I've never seen anybody wait, like, a year, really, to cash in their briefcase. Type of thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Because he has till Money in the Bank next year, so, or whatever date Money in the Bank was.
Cash in during the first match of the night, lose, partake in that year's Money in the Bank, win it, and then cash in at the end of the night, be the only man to cash in twice in one night.
That'd be interesting. I still want to. There's a lot of things that they could do with the Money in the Bank. I would like to see I've never seen this where the contract holder's fighting for the title, he loses, and then he cashes in, like he lays out the guy and cashes in. I've never seen that before. Like,
I mean, I once wrote a pretty unique storyline for 2011 where Del Rio had the Money in the Bank briefcase. And like how he could have cashed that in on Punk at Money in the Bank.
He almost did, yeah.
And the idea was very lucrative. I don't think I ever brought that to a fantasy booking, but maybe I will.
Alright. Then it shows WWE in Saudi, just kind of all the charity work they've been doing there, because they do that now. Then we get to the main event. It's the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship match. It's LA Knight challenging Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns has got Paul Heyman with him. I mean, I don't really know what to say about this match. I mean, I'll let you talk about it because
I'll do this one. So, yeah, right off the bat, Knight was on the offensive on Reigns, and Reigns didn't have much of an answer for the first couple minutes of the match.
Right.
Eventually, Reigns was able to start fighting back, hitting Russian leg sweep. Bulldog. Knight hit him with a DDT for a 2 count. Reigns hit the Uranagi, went for the Superman punch, but Knight was able to block it. Knight was able to hit the superplex, and then his I almost want to call it the people's elbow.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
I mean, just saying, his finishers are technically a modified people's elbow and a modified stump.
Yep, it is. Yeah.
But anyhow, Solo Sikoa ends up walking down the aisle, which allows Jimmy Uso to come down and pull Reigns out of the ring. Reigns was able to hit a Superman punch and a spear on Knight for a 2 count. Reigns then locked in a guillotine choke, but after fighting out of it, getting locked back into it, fighting out of it again, and getting locked back into it again, and fighting out of it again, Knight breaks the guillotine choke, one of the few people to do so, and then hits a BFT for a 2 count.
No, not a 2 count. Jimmy puts his foot on the ropes.
It was a 2 count because Jimmy put the foot on the ropes.
Which he missed.
Which, at this point, I mean, you could, I think, like 9 out of 10 people in the WWE universe can probably put a blindfold on and predict the rest of the match from here. Knight gets distracted, tries to fight off Jimmy, which lets Reigns take advantage of it. They're on the outside. Reigns hits a spear through the barricade tonight, throws him back in the ring, hits a third spear, and gets him for the pinfall to retain his championship. I gotta be honest, this is getting old. I can't give this any more than a 2 out of 5.
I still liked it for what it was. I'll give it like 3, but yeah, this is getting old. Yeah, again, well, I mean, I've talked about this. Why don't I let you? Because I've mentioned before, like, mature on Roman Reigns, but you haven't really been able to be on. So why don't you kind of talk about what it's like now?
I give Roman credit. He made it 1,000 days without his title reign really getting old. Admittedly, the thought started to cross my mind after WrestleMania this year, where he beat Cody. Because at that point, it's like, what now?
Yes.
You know, what now? And, you know, good for WWE. They were able to do the whole bloodline turning on him storyline for a bit. And I was like, okay, this now. You know, maybe I was wrong. They made chicken salad out of chicken shit. Doesn't excuse the facts of the chicken shit. But then we get to SummerSlam, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe Jay beats him, and, you know, Cody can beat Roman down the line. Doesn't have to be for the title, but he can beat him to say he beat him. But no, then they had Jimmy turn on him for reasons we 3 months later still don't know.
Well, there was an explanation. Jimmy said he didn't want him to be the tribal chief. Like, he didn't want him to be like...
It's like, that's such a stupid reason. And I would be totally okay if he just said, yeah, I lied. This is the real reason. Like, retcon it, because that reason sucks.
Mm.
I don't want you to be like him. And now I'm going to go listen to him.
Yeah, that's weird.
I'm sorry. Did I miss Common Sense 101 when I was growing up? Like, what? It didn't make any sense. It still doesn't. You know, yeah, the Bloodline storyline is officially, in this guy's point of view, run its course. I'm sick of it. You know, I love the Royal Rumble. I know that's most likely the next event he's defending his title at. You know, I might go make nachos for whoever I'm partying with during the Rumble during that match. That, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Roman Reigns is going to be the piss break match at the Rumble, because I don't care. He's going to win. Nothing entertaining is going to come out of it, so I don't care.
Yeah, I'll just kind of talk about this as I've talked about it. I've been talking about this for a few weeks. Yeah, WrestleMania, I was pretty pissed. I watched it with Chris. He was pissed, because you know Chris is a big Cody fan and everything like
I
that.
know.
So, you can imagine how pissed he was. But then we kind of heard the story. They're doing this as like a redemption story. WWE did kind of get lucky, because Cody's been able to stay red hot since then. They've been lucky with that.
Yes.
And then, you know, they did the... then he disappeared, and I was kind of like, whatever. They wanted to get him to 1,000 days, so it's like, okay, if he was that close, then whatever. And then, yeah, then he did the tag title program with KO and Sammy, so I'm like, okay, that was good. They did the breakup of the Bloodline storyline. And it's like, you know, they finally had everything going really well. And then it's like, yeah, this Jimmy turn happened, and it's just like, wow. You know, something tells me that the reason I'm just coming up with this now, did they do this Jimmy turn because they knew Roman was going to be gone for 2 months, so they had to keep the Bloodline storyline like cooking fire while Roman was gone?
Probably. I don't know. I mean, because I would have been fine if Roman just beat Jay.
Right.
It would have been heartbreaking, but I would have been okay with it.
Yeah, but then, you know, yeah, then just like, I think ever since this Jimmy turns happened, it's really, I was thinking too, okay, you know, the Bloodline storyline's going off the rails because Roman's not there, and I still like it. It's still good stuff when he's there, but honestly, I feel like it's worse that it's just like stagnant. I'd rather it be bad or like, you know, great, but it's been stagnant ever since SummerSlam, really. It just feels like it's lost a lot of steam, and I think it doesn't help that he's going off TV for a couple months now. You know, it feels like you know, we're just kind of biding our time. And I you could say the same thing's going on with Cody, because he doesn't really have anything going on, but at least he's over right now, and he's like, you know, he's also not like overbearing or anything like that. He's not on the, you know, him not being there and stuff, or him being there isn't, you know, it's just so weird.
Yeah, and I don't think, because I think now Roman's going away, Cena's probably going away again, so, you know, congrats Monday Night Raw. I think you're the flagship show for the foreseeable future again, but,
yeah, definitely.
You know, going into Survivor Series, there's not much to be excited for on SmackDown outside of Logan Paul being United States Champion.
Yeah.
And Kairi Sane being back.
LA Knight too, I think, had a good showing here. You know, I don't think this is it for him. I think, you know, the fact that he got to this point is good, and I think he's such a great talent that he can bounce back from this loss. I don't think this loss hurt him.
LA Knight's gonna be fine.
Yeah, LA Knight would be. It's just
fine.
Yeah, it's just this bloodline storyline. Like, I feel like Saturday was when I was kind of like, yeah, I think Roman's title reign, it's finally done now. Like, yeah, it's what it's course.
As for where I think Roman does go from here, in terms of who his next opponent's going to be, there's still one name that avoids his list of people he's beat, and that would be the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Yeah, they have that whole thing where, like, they took him out.
I think at the Royal Rumble we'll see AJ versus Roman for the title.
Yeah.
Which will be a good match, but at the same time, it's like, I'm watching for AJ. I'm not watching for Roman. I don't care about Roman anymore.
Right. I actually think Roman got a little lucky that Sami Zayn storyline caught fire like it did, because I think without that storyline, we would have been sick of this title reign long before that. So,
yeah.
You know, I feel like WWE's been able to bounce back for that, but now we're going to look back and we're going to be like, yeah, maybe Mania last year was the time to take the title off him, because that was when the Bloodline storyline was like the hottest it was and stuff.
And so. I always like to end by just pointing this out. We have to remember the X factor is the Money in the Bank contract doesn't just say Seth Rollins. So Roman Reigns has to watch his back too.
Yeah, but they haven't been But they haven't played up to that, though, is the problem. Like,
that's what makes me think it more and more. The less and less Damian looks at Roman's belt, the more and more I think, this could be an out of nowhere.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people would be pissed, though, if Roman lost his title via cash-in. I think then it's like, well, what did you have them keep the title for that long?
Yeah, you can't. You really can't, though.
Because then what? He cashes in and he pins Cody. Like, it's like, I feel that's gonna piss people off if, like, that's how, you know, Roman loses his title. Like,
yeah.
You know, I mean, don't forget, by the way, too. I mean, I know you hate this rule. As you saw with what happened with Theory last year, he can cash in on mid-card championships also. So, you know,
yeah,
that's a thing now.
Dragunov better be careful.
Well, Walter better be careful too. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much.
This guy better watch your back.
No, it's the woman's Money in the Bank ladder match has already happened. So,
and he might cash in on her though, because he can cash in on anyone.
That's true. But yeah, overall, that's the end of this review. We got to do a letter grade for this pay-per-view. I thought this was solid. I'll give it like a B. I think I was originally going to go B+, but I think the main event really brings it down, I think, is B. Not the match, just the result. Just the result.
I got to go B-. That main event just really... And, yeah, it's a B- for me.
Yeah, and I don't want to give... I think a lot of people are going to give LA Knight flack because they're going to say, well, he didn't deliver in the main event then. It's like...
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he did. He did. It's just, you know, he was in an unwinnable situation, both kayfabe and, you know, not kayfabe.
LA Knight's the kind of guy that can get a good match out of a broomstick, but don't excuse the fact that you're wrestling a broomstick. And unfortunately, after over 1,000 days of being champion, Roman Reigns is now a broomstick.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, now the problem is too, the Bloodline storyline's going to go off the rails, so we're not going to see Roman for a while. And you know, as we saw, the Bloodline storyline kind of struggled without Roman Reigns there. So
yeah, where do we go from here on SmackDown? You know, outside of the Logan Paul storyline and the Io Sky, Kairi Sane storyline, probably Jimmy and Jay. Sorry, not Jimmy Jay. Jimmy and Solo feuding with LA Knight will continue.
Yeah.
I think Cena will be out of the picture. I think maybe because after Solo took out AJ, maybe we see AJ finally come back and he becomes the partner there. And that's how you start building toward the Roman Reigns AJ Styles match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that match was on the back burner for a while. So now I do have to ask you: do you think the days of traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series matches are over? Like, do you think they're just going to do War Games every year now? Do you think they'll do a traditional 5-on-5 this year? Now that do you think?
I don't think they're over, but I don't think they're in high demand yet.
And a lot of people are making speculation they're going to do Raw versus SmackDown because Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce have been at each other's throats, so they could do a War Games match with like Raw versus SmackDown.
Yeah, I definitely think we could this year see a Survivor Series that is more reminiscent of the original Survivor Series. The original Survivor Series was all 5-on-5s.
Right.
This one could be all War Games matches.
I wouldn't mind that. I think you have to make the rules like different and everything like that.
And I don't think there's any reason you can't do that. And you can, you can change it up too. You can have one be 3-on-3, one be a 4-on-4, one be a 5-on-5.
You're going with the TNA lockdown method where every match is a steel cage match. That's right there, by the way.
Hey, I like lockdown. I did. Yeah, and going by that logic, if I had to give examples, Imperium versus Alpha Academy is a 3-on-3. LWO versus Bobby Lashley, the Prophet.
Mm-hmm.
Logan Paul and Theory with Waller on the outside. They've got 5-on-5.
I still think you have to have another 5-on-5 one.
Day.
Yeah.
Judgment Day versus Team Cody could be a 4-on-4 with JD getting taken out at the last minute, replaced with Drew.
Yep.
Then for the women's, you can kind of do the same if you want.
Yeah, because I don't really because Triple H has also been not loading his pay-per-view card. I'm sorry, PLE cards recently. So, which I think a lot of people don't like that, but I don't really mind that. I actually kind of like that it's not loaded anymore.
I will say this though, with all those tag teams on the horizon at War Games potentially, they better be careful because if Shawn Michaels backstage, they're all going to break up.
You've been watching our show, I see.
I'm well aware because you're not the only one that has that opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I still waiting for Chase U to break up. It seems like that's just a lot. So,
Oh, that's going to happen. It's going to be Chase U versus Chase U soon.
But I do have to ask, I wonder if Shawn Michaels noticed that... I wonder if Shawn Michaels watches our show, because I've noticed ever since we started talking about it, he hasn't broken up any tag teams lately. So,
This is a low blow. Shawn Michaels keeps an eye on your show. Unfortunately, it's the one that doesn't work.
But anyhow, I think we should get out of here because we're going on an hour and a half, and I promised you we wouldn't be on too long, and we're just rambling now at this point, so there's nothing to talk about right now. But yeah, let's do some plugs and promotion. Anything you want to plug or promote? I mean, you probably don't have anything, but I always like to ask type of thing. So
no, I guess all we have to do now is tune into Raw tomorrow night and see what happens.
Well, tonight, because this is going out Monday, so...
okay.
But knowing how James uploads things, this will be airing as Raw's on, though, so it's like, that line's not going to mean much, so... but...
Well...
yeah, as for my stuff, you can check out, at the same time, James and I will be recording WCW Halloween Havoc 1998 retro because I tried to record it the first time with Zero and his audio didn't work, so we couldn't upload it. So I have to redo it, which sucks.
That is Goldberg versus DDP.
Actually, you could be on for that if you wanted to, if you could find the time.
When are you recording that?
Well, it's supposed to be doing Raw, but like this way James doesn't have to come back. So you know, you and I could just find the time to do it. You just have to watch the show and everything.
Honestly, I probably won't be on it, but I'll tell you right now, Goldberg versus DDP is a very good match.
Hey, just tell me another time you can have the time to do it. We
A 4.5 star match. There's my review.
But yeah, we have that coming up. AEW Spark, Zio and I will be covering all of the things AEW related for this week. Well, last week.
I'll tell you one thing. I can already guarantee there's going to be a big announcement this week.
Oh, I have a lot. I have a lot to say about that this week. So
yeah. And you know what? I bet there's going to be a big announcement next week too. in the next week.
Oh yeah, the SpongeBob reference.
If you see my comments on some of the announcements I've wrote that Tony's going to make, some of them are pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, there'll be other stuff coming up. On the Talkinator channel, on the Talkinator channel, there's an Owen and AJ Talks episode. It's incoming. It's my cousin and I reviewing Danny Phantom Season 1, Episodes 2 through 4. Sorry, it's long. It's gonna be long. We just don't have the structure yet, so we're gonna figure that out.
Fun fact: Coach Hartman had a whole nother season of that show planned out, and Nickelodeon said no because they wanted to do Fanboy and Chum Chum.
Yeah, so I have a lot to say about that when that happens.
They also chose Fanboy and Chum Chum over Adventure Time. Good idea, Nick.
That's pretty much it, guys. And since this is being recorded in the past, we will talk to you guys in the future.
Podcast has concluded. Be sure to check out more group discussion as far as WWE content is concerned, and check out more content from For the Win Productions.